Hello world, welcome to the Women of BSV. We are happy today to have as our guest KPDad72, also known as Kris Pelland. You may know him as KPDad like we do. He's the creator of BitcoinZ, the meme master, disruptor of all things evil, and he's trying to bring awareness in a world of misleading tyranny. He's a BSV addict with 30 years of an automotive technician experience, a networking degree, programming degree, and he started in Bitcoin as BTC, then split to BCH, and followed all the chaos that ensued. He's been studying law online to teach his children, and his coin collection can be found at RelayX/1BitcoinZ. So welcome to the conversation, KP Dad.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hello, Dad.
Hello, Diddy.
Now, I always remember you being in the chat box for Satoshi's Live at 5 stuff. And like you've always been so nice to me anyway. And like your humor always made me laugh. And because you're KP Dad, so therefore you are Dad.
I'm a dad, that's for sure.
You've got 1, 2, 3, 4. You've got 5 females here today that are all your daughters in the BSV community.
It's maybe a bit old for that, but okay.
Words of advice and words of wisdom have you got for us, and what are you going to share with us today?
Oh, well, everybody's got their own little path along Bitcoin and, where you came from, how you got there. I started following Bitcoin. Everybody saw a numbers move and, things transpire. And I watched that move. And then Ethereum come out and I'm thinking, smart contract based systems, that might be something to follow. And I really didn't get a lot into BTC Bitcoin and as much as, the Occupy Wall Street, people trying to tell people, monies and, the banks shouldn't be bailed out. There's a lot of stuff that went behind all that. But, even back then, we're like, why are these people standing outside arguing with banks? I mean, some people didn't even get it back then, including a lot of my family. So if monies are the problem and people look at it, BTC originally BTC started getting accepted by Starbucks, AT&T, JCPenney. So it looked like there was an adoption path for it. And then you started to see things slow down. And then I saw a BCH split and a fork. And I'm like, what in the world's going on with all this? So that's really what intrigued me. So I started getting in and following that. And of course, there's some other information behind that led me to get to that point. But as I went along with it, you learn. And you're like, this is like the internet 1.0 all over again. If I could get in early on this stuff, learning about how all this is working, maybe I could get somewhere in this instead of watching the internet run right by and like, oh yeah, .coms. The internet blew up, it settled down. Everybody couldn't have a doggyfood.com because it just didn't work that way. But back to the BCH, if they're splitting it and they're saying that they want to have a cash system for the world and now Bitcoin isn't going to be a cash system anymore, where was it all going? Why was it all changing? There's a lot of stuff behind the scenes. If you're seeing from this side of the field, you don't get to see it all. I mean, I didn't know all this stuff that these guys were talking about on the Bitcoin channel and all that. I wasn't that deep into it. I started numbers moving around thing. I put some money in Ethereum thinking, smart contracts got to be better than just cash, but, clearly that's not the way to invest. So at that point, I started looking more and more and more and digging deeper for information. And lo and behold, there becomes another fork. Why are we forking off again? Well, clearly because people don't want to do the same thing. And if everybody wants a different outcome, well, then what's the outcome that makes the most sense for us? And what's the most outcome that makes the most sense for trying to break everything? So that's kind of where it took me. And then I started searching around for more BSV information. And I found the BSV channel with Shem, Bitcoin Tramp, and Satoshi. And that was where I pretty much met a lot of the people that I know in the area now, including Diddy. It's really easy to be nice to these people. How nice are the people in Bitcoin SV? I mean, it's not like you're dealing with the average numbers got to go up to make this thing work kind of people. Yeah. I mean, we're grounded. We're pretty honest, level-headed people. So, yeah, we followed that around for a while, and as you're seeing it, you're like business opportunities start to think in your head. You're thinking of songs now. Okay, now I'm thinking this. How am I thinking of songs as I'm watching shows about stuff? I don't know. Everybody's heads work a little bit differently, but I did. I thought about a song like, I don't know, 3 or 4 months into when the Bitcoin SV channel show started up, and it was Bloody Well Right by Supertramp. And
yeah, I know that one.
Great.
well, I wrote it.
Let's hear it.
And I'm not an artist. I'm by no means ready to sing it for you or anything like that. But it would be very interesting to have it in an NFT as an audio.
Oh, you must.
Yeah, that's a goal. But if you ever heard me sing the Bitcoin River part of the Bitcoin's Got Talent show, I should probably save my singing money lessons and put them into something else.
No. You can't tell us
Just have
you can
fun.
sing it and then not actually give us a demo on the show.
Oh.
Oh.
All right, how about I just give you like the first verse or two? Because I'm not a lyricist
go on
by
then.
no means. I don't have music, so this is acapella.
Yep.
So you can acalapha, okay? So you think your Bitcoin's money? Bow, bow, bow. Let's see if the SEC agrees. Down, down, down. You claim that all your shitcoins are money. Down, down, down. We'll break out your pants. We're about to see. Down, down, down. Right, right. His name is Craig Wright. They also call him Sod O'Shea. Right, right. The timing is right. It's time to build on BSV. All right, I'm going to stop.
Well done. That's really good.
Love it.
And they just made NFT audio for Relay, so I really do need to get off my butt.
I uploaded one yesterday. So
Yeah.
it's a really great process. I was amazed. The minting process was really easy and very, very cheap. Like 13 cents to mint a 6-minute audio track.
Oh, wow, that's really good.
Just amazing. And then that pulls into Jamify, which it's a streaming platform which has been around for like 20 days or so, which was I think is a rapper that's actually built the platform, which is great.
It's great.
How many?
Like, hey,
Jamify, is that like a competitor to Spotify then?
Yeah, Jamify.
Yes.
It's awesome. It's absolutely, it's brilliant. So you get your track mix. I'm getting a feeling of like, what's his name? The Country and Western, from the 80s. Miley Cyrus's dad, Billy Ray Cyrus.
Oh, Billy Ray Cyrus, yeah.
Is that kind of where you were going with it, or are we more rappy? I kind of get this rappy kind of feel.
I guess, I've worked on cars for 30 years. I've breathed exhaust fumes for 30 years. I've probably gained a raspy voice over it.
So it's garage then. It's garage.
That's right. That's true garage music then, right?
Tell us a bit about your job, because I'm intrigued. When you say you work on cars, what do you mean?
Well, I've been a technician on cars for 30 years. I started working on cars when I was 14. I got a 67 Volkswagen Beetle as my first car. And if you own one of them, you're going to work on cars.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So
a lot of Volkswagen also, and I should try to be able to maintenance it more. But I'm learning.
That's right. That's what you do. Start little and work your way. Well, I started doing, just automotive stuff, and I started in a diagnostic shop. So basically I started on learning the computer side of stuff from the beginning. And I learned all the other stuff as I went along. I don't do paint and body work, but I do everything else. So air conditioning, electrical work, computer work, diagnostic work is what I prefer to do, because then you're sitting down looking at data and trying to surmise what's wrong with the system. And I can pretty much fix most everything that's got a wiring diagram and a theory of operation.
So if
Once I can get some data to it, yeah.
So if a head gasket goes, you're the guy to come and see then.
Oh yeah, motors. Yeah, I do all that stuff all day long.
I mean, it's pretty specialized knowledge nowadays, though, isn't it? Because a lot of mechanics nowadays can't diagnose something without a computer.
Correct. Yes. Well, I've got a picture of my toolbox in my slideshow. I'll show you in a little bit.
Oh, cool.
And it's not a carry-on. That's probably over $100,000
I
in
was
tools.
going to say, like, how big is it? Yeah.
Huge.
Interesting.
Wow.
My dad was he started off as a scientist, and then like he had to take over the family business, and he became a mechanic. So I spent a lot of time as a little kid, like greased up in at the garage playing with ball bearings and spanners and things, and just with oil and Schwarzenegger and everything. Right. So I learned to drive. I was like really young, but my dad used to sit me on his knee at the back of the garage and then like give us private driving lessons at the back of the garage. It was great. So you've got family, haven't you? So do you teach is it daughters?
I have a daughter and 2 sons.
Okay, so are they following in your footsteps then?
Well, I mean, you've got the Bitcoin head and you've got the rest of the family. Not everybody wants to do the same thing. So we try not to force things, we try to offer opportunities and open doors.
Yeah, that's all we can do as parents.
Yeah.
With that.
Which was really crazy because my son is a serious gamer and he spends a lot of time. He's really good at it. I tried to talk him into crypto fights. They were offered me a beta position playing when they were first trying it out. And I said, well, I've got all this other stuff. At the time, I'm working on Recipe SV, and there's a lot of other things that I had going on. And I'm like, it sounds like a great opportunity, but I just don't have the time to do it. I offered it to him, and he's like, well, if it's not competitive and I can't beat people, I don't want to play it yet. That's not the same as trying to emerge technology. So, he's got a little different outlook than I have. But, like I said, you let them grow on their own.
You can battle in crypto fights. As a player, you go in and battle different players.
Yeah.
So did he know that?
He did not know. At the beginning, it was still, I guess it wasn't a full-blown ready game. I was telling you it's beta. They're building it up. They're letting you try stuff out, give feedback, ask for things to be built, and he's like, oh, well, I guess rather just blow stuff up.
They do live stream some of the games, because I saw 2 girls playing against each other last night that were live streaming on Crypto Fights YouTube channel. So,
cool.
Yes, and they have the many-sided die that you click to roll the many-sided die. So there's that element of chance. But then you also can select the type of move that you do. So then it involves the strategy as well. So welcome him back, because it's a fun game.
I'm going to have to put it back in front of him and see if he changes his mind. That's for sure.
Yeah.
If it's anything like my son, they just don't listen to their parents. Do they?
No,
I'm into crypto and I think it's like really cutting edge and interesting, but anything your mum does, right, by definition is uncool. I think.
It's not cool. I told him you can forge your future. At this point in life, you can forge your future. But
I'm sure Casey wanted. Did you want your son to learn how to play crypto fights? Maybe you could get your sons to play together.
Yeah, how old is your son?
21.
Oh,
21.
Mine's
Okay, so
16.
my son's 12. Yeah, he's 12. But I did hook him up with his hand cash wallet, his money went wallet. I put $30 in each, and I built him out a link tree like I do for clients, and I signed him up on his Twitch, Relica, Streamanity, and Crypto Fights. And I was like, here, I'm trying to open all these doors. And he's a very, very avid gamer as well. And so I was doing my best to kind of point him in somewhere that I feel like there is a real opportunity for people to generate an income for themselves doing something that they love. And that's not really possible in the traditional gaming setting right now, unless you become a big influencer, which he doesn't necessarily want to do that side of it. So I think it's a really cool opportunity, especially getting here at the beginning, being able to be part of that team that can help mold these games, as given all their feedback and all
but
the
did he listen to you?
Stuff. No, he really didn't get. But it was kind of me. I didn't keep. I was gonna. The next step was find someone that's really good at crypto fights and like get him on a call together or something, and have somebody like kind of show him around. I really feel like that's such an important part of onboarding for a lot of people. And so that was the space I was trying to hold with my business from anyone, whether it's a 12-year-old trying to get into the gaming stuff or it's a casino trying to get into the iGaming information. I was just here making those networking connections at every chance I got.
The trouble is, we'd probably have more luck convincing our kids' friends than we would convincing our kids.
Absolutely.
Parental relationship that's like poison, really. Anyway.
Well, I actually did have a couple of my my older daughter's 19, and there's a couple of her friends that were interested in doing some, onboarding sessions with clients if I ever needed, as that grew, to kind of give them an independent entrepreneur job that they can support themselves without having to, fall into the traps of the world safely. So that's really a passion of mine, for helping, people that are stuck in the slavery cogs, how to get out of that and, be completely self-sufficient and free.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Absolutely.
So,
to do that.
What I'm so interested in is talking about silver. And I know we've got to get on into it in a bit, but just how did you get, because I came into Bitcoin from collecting silver myself.
Yay.
So I'm intrigued. What was the moment when you decided that was a good idea? Like, was it 2008 or was it earlier?
No. Actually, I started looking at silver at about $14 silver. Gold was about $12.85.
Yeah.
So it was some time ago, but that's it. The bank did it to me. Go figure, right? Once again, these bankers will teach you a lesson or two. I was banking with Chase. Chase chased me right out the door. They lived right up to their name. Okay. So I went over and I joined a local credit union and had my money in there for a while. And after my son turned 18, they started taking money out of the savings account. I'm like, well, how am I saving it for me? You're taking it from them. So I said, well, I got a number for you. I said, I'm going to take all the money out and buy Silver Eagles for my kids. So at $16 a Silver Eagle, $16.85, I think it was at the time. I started buying Silver Eagles for them. Now look at them. How much are Silver Eagles? $38 a piece?
I've not looked lately, actually.
They're up there.
Yeah.
And, they bounce around a little bit, but the premiums on silver are spread. And I'm the type of guy where I pay attention to a lot of things, and I catch little things. And for a number of years that I'd acquired silver, that the buyback prices on silver were always X amount below spot price. Well, at a certain point last year, it turned, because then you could actually start selling back to the bullion dealers at above spot price. And they've never done that before in the history of me ever buying.
Wow, they must have been desperate.
Well, they're starting to notice that there's a disparity between the buy-ask sell price and the real price. And I believe that has something to do with the COMEX and the futures prices on silver. If they put a lot of futures contracts out there on silver, it would put the future price of silver down, and that would affect the real price of silver now. So future contracts on silver seem to have more an effect on the real price of real physical silver, and it's a paper silver, not a real silver. So there's a disparity between knowing what real silver and paper silver is. And as they can keep pushing the market with the paper, it drives the real price down.
And
but
Chris,
if they keep doing a pull off the market, there won't be enough silver for them to keep doing that.
Explain to us the difference between contango and backwardation. Educate our audience a bit. Like what does all that mean, and what does it mean for what state the market's in, and why is it an issue?
I'm once again, I'm not a financial analyst by no means. This is all self-learned information, but the spot price on silver is what you pay for it for the contract. If you're buying a contract of paper silver online, if you're buying GLD, they're doing it. So, it's SLV, not GLD. SLV and SL, who is it? PSLV, which is Sprott. Yeah. Sprott actually buys the real silver and backs his paper silver with real silver. SLV does not. SLV does not have all the silver backing all the silver contracts that they have on the market. So the difference between that is they're saying they could, I want to say someone said the other day they did a number on the gold and it was 83 to 100 contracts for 1 ounce of gold. So now how many ounces of silver are per contract? It could be, don't hold me to this number, 5,000 to 6,000 ounces per contracts per ounce. So it's like you're that far off in the numbers. And you can go to usdebtclock.org. I think they have really close.
Just explain what that means. So if they've sold 5,000 contracts for every ounce of silver in existence,
these contract things were like they used to do the market on pigs, eggs, gas, and they would think that, what do you think the price of that egg, pig, or gas will be in the future? like 6 months from now or whatever. So it's kind of like shorting the market on it. So if you buy something on a futures contract and you think it's going to go down and you buy 1 million contracts, well, then you're almost artificially pushing the price down because you're making everybody believe it's going to be lower later. That's my take on it.
Placing a big bet. Yeah.
So later, when all the contracts get called, where's all the silver for all of it? So at some point, you have to back the contracts with real, and there's nowhere near enough real for how many contracts are out there. So it'll be a problem at some point. And
that problem is likely to, become a real problem, let's say, rather than a paper problem.
Correct, because how the banking system
markets have fallen and everybody's
domino leans on that, domino leans on that, domino leans on that, domino.
Yeah,
so there's no money in it. That's the problem.
Like getting margin called.
Yeah, there's no money. Everything is credit. Yeah. So if everything is a fictitious number on a computer and they're supposed to be backing real assets to back that, they have nowhere near enough real assets to back the money. So all this printing $2 trillion, $4 trillion, $6 trillion willy-nilly, that affects the market. And it doesn't seem like it's affected it right now, but look at lumber. Lumber went up last year. You couldn't even build houses. They had to stop because of the price. Now it came back down some, but that's the government manipulating the numbers, running the market, instead of letting a free market environment take over. And eventually, I think that's what's going to happen. I think at some point, the fake market is going to get caught up to by the real market, but they're already planning 3 rate hikes for.
Let's be real there, because there are so many better alternatives to lumber, like hempcrete, cob, earth shipbuilding. Like there's so many amazing biotexture solutions for building houses that they're not letting us have. I mean, you can build a house out of mushroomcrete that is fireproof, mold-proof, like all these things, and they're self-regulating homes that breathe with you. This lumber we're using is toxic. They're just manipulating us psychologically with it. It's really like there's probably not even actually shortages and stuff.
Probably not. Probably not. They artificially make the shortage, lock it all up.
Yeah, if we all just said no and started putting all this money and time and energy into all these solution-based building materials that are so much better for the earth and last so much longer and have so much less toxicity, like we don't need their lumber. I don't understand why there's not more guerrilla mass movements of like just getting the heck out of those things and putting all this money in. And it's mostly because of the censorship. People don't know these things are possible. So go look up hempcrete, mushroomcrete, cob houses. I mean, they're beautiful, and you get to be artistic and like put your personality into your home.
Yeah, basically going back to wattle and daub, really. Yeah.
Earth ships. This guy in Taos, New Mexico, with earth ships, he fought the government to like have a subdivision of earth ships as like a test community for these sustainable houses with nothing coming in them, nothing going out of them, and you grow your food inside. Everything is beautiful. So. That's all. I hope we can get to that point where we stop begging for their crap anyway. We don't need it,
I'm trying to grow a lot of my own food. I post some of the stuff out there. I love my pineapples. I've got like six pineapple bushes on the side of my house, and every once in a while one will just pop up, and I get all excited, And I stopped growing anything in the ground. I feel like everything that I grow in the ground here dies. So I pretty much grow container everything. And I'm about to start again with potatoes and some cucumbers, green beans, and some other things out there. So, this is Florida. You can grow everything in Florida.
Wow. And what size are the pineapples?
Well, I've grown numerous sizes. 2 of them popped up together, and one of them was probably about this big. The other one was about this big. The one I just pulled the other day was about this big, and it's still in the fridge. So ripened all up, and you know that there's nothing on them because you grew them.
I was surprised how long those take to grow.
They take a while. Yep.
They take a long time. When I lived in Hawaii, one of the first work trade farms that I stayed at, one of their job work trade requirements while they were away was you had to sing to their pineapples.
Well, KPDad would be great at that.
That's funny though. One of my best friends actually did that. He actually went to Hawaii and he funded his trip doing pineapples and coconuts.
Yeah, it was.
And he got to go to Hawaii for a summer, surfed, and did all the fun by doing that kind of work.
Wow. Same here. I work traded summer of 2013 on Big Island in the Woofing network.
That's the way to do it.
www.org, and you can work trade your way around the whole world. It's so fun.
I need to look into that for my son, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really, really
Ship him
amazing.
off somewhere.
It's super cheap.
I've traveled. I've never traveled for working.
Yeah. Well, it's all work trade. So you learn hands-on at all these permaculture farms and sustainable practices. It's like real world education for free. Doesn't get any better. So
I love Ruth and Diddy's country. I've been to England twice.
Have you?
Yes, I have. Been to England twice. I've been to Paris once.
Yeah, where did you visit over in the UK?
When I was over there, I was staying down in Gosport, which is South Coast. The shops of Ferrum.
Okay.
And Plymouth area. I mean, Portsmouth area, somewhere around there. And but I went all over. I went everywhere. We went to the South Country. We went to Worcester. We went to London. We went to north of London, so a couple of places we stood. Yeah, we went all over the place. Of course, you see Stonehenge. You don't go over to England and not see Stonehenge.
Yeah.
It's all very cathedral. I mean, there was all stuff. There was stuff everywhere. I saw some ruined mansion that was in Worcester that was burnt to the ground, and it was on this huge grounds that had big, huge fountains on the back of it that were all still there, that they run once a year. And they run off of water being piped down, channeled down through pipes to build the pressure from across the road. And these fountains shoot up in the air like 185 feet.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's some pretty good engineers, of fountains in this country.
The Jurassic Coast, the southwest is beautiful. That's Devon, Cornwall. Really, really nice. Portsmouth obviously is very famous for being a maritime kind of town. We've got a lot of sail ships and everything from Portsmouth. So,
the guy that was over there that I went over with a girl, and her ex-boyfriend took me out caving.
Oh, wow.
He knew somebody on the Southampton caving team, the captain, and he came out with gear, and he brought us out into this one tunnel that you have to key unlock, check us out to see if we were fine with small spaces, and then he brought us out into this English countryside. We changed in a barn, and we walked out about a half a mile out to a tree, and then when we got to the tree, I'm like, where are we going? He's like, we're going right there. And I look down, and there's a river under the ground in a hole under the tree. Wow. And he's like, I'm gonna jump in this hole, and the water's gonna pull me down, and I'm gonna roll off to the side on this little thing, and you'll see my light just roll off there. But we went down inside there, and I bet we were down inside there for almost an hour. And we saw this huge waterfall, and I'm telling you, it had to be a 75 or 100-foot waterfall down inside the middle of the earth. We shut our lights off. We ate a candy bar, drank a water in pitch black with the waterfall going. That's
very memorable.
the kind of trip you remember when you go to England.
Wow,
You're braver than me, that's for sure.
Yeah, when I went back the second time, the same exact guy brought me yacht racing around the Isle of Wight. That was amazing too. So, I bring him here, and I have to try and show him a good time. How do I compete with that?
I know.
Grapes and pineapples and things. Is it tequila that pineapples? Is it tequila?
Oh, I don't know. Can you make tequila out of pineapples? Agave, right? I don't think tequila too much. I'm not a big alcohol consumer. We do candy for New Year's Eve. We fill our table with candy. The kids can have everything the parents are having. Everybody has a fun time. We have neons, lights that we spin around, and little crackers, and that way, your whole family's doing something together.
You've got an NFT, which is a Christmas tree with lights. Is that from Christmas?
It was, and once again, I tried to put it up there, but the compression that happened on there, it was changing colors and all this other stuff, but it didn't want to come out all that well. So they didn't make a delete on those NFTs yet for a relay, so we have to leave it up there for now.
So I was going to say, can we have a look at your
the slideshow? Yeah, I'd like to see.
Yes, and I have a question about the NFTs. I mentioned my first one the other day.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It was such fun. It was real spur of the moment. Mm-hmm. And I don't think you could upload a video file. It had to be an image file.
Has to be image.
Is that still the case? Or are you saying that you...
They used to do movie files, MP4, not movie, MP4, And I think they stopped doing the MP4 also because they were having problems with them. It was locking up something on their back end. Okay. So they went to just standard. Well, I've got GIFs on mine, or GIFs, whatever. My son tried to tell me I'm saying it wrong. So I have GIFs on mine, and I've got a 10 meg GIF on the last coin that I just did. And I'm making sure that all my artwork, I'm setting limitations on my art.
No wonder it's a big file. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because I can have them. I mean, I've got a couple of them in like 145 meg for the detail on the stuff, but clearly I can't use them except for web page stuff.
Thank you. Yes.
You're welcome.
Well, we'll love to see your presentation.
Yeah.
Sure. Share your screen.
Share screen.
Very cool. I love your color scheme.
Can you guys still see me, or you just see the screen?
No,
we see you and the screen.
Okay. All right. Well, this is the beginning of Bitcoins. Basically, when I came up with the idea for this, I'm like, what can I do to make a lasting impression, make my mark, leave something to be remembered by? Because, a lot of the stuff, you had dogfood.com, you can remember all that stuff. But if it's made in a physical form that you can collect, Bitcoins has the digital side of it. But we're trying to link a physical to a digital. So this is a physical pegged to a digital using an immutable chain to try and store all of it. So we got immutable coin art, physical pegged to digital. When we started, I'm trying to show a little bit here of my hand-drawn art and paper drawings of what I came up with and what the logo turned into once I had the artwork done. That was the vector imaging. And then from the concept of the logo into the first production coin, this is the logo side of the coin for Bitcoins.
I love it.
It's very pretty.
Very nice. So this is silver coins that you sell that have these engravings.
This coin right here is actually a nickel-based coin with enamel painting. All the colored coins I did not do in silver because I just couldn't bring myself to put paint over silver.
No, I agree.
I tried to make a selection of coins where you could pick a colored coin, you could pick a silver coin. It would give a diversified product menu to a customer, basically. You didn't have to spend hundreds of dollars and buy this one. You could spend this one and, you could still be part of the history and remember and all that stuff. Cool. So then we came up with Bunny Mutton. Bunny Mutton was a play on the pay mails when they first came out in London, and everybody was inside the room, and I want to say it was Bitcoin Trant that said it backwards, or there was he heard it, but somebody said Bunny Mutton instead of Money Button, and it just stuck. So as a lot of people, I'm sitting in the audience listening all day long because I'm working, so I can hear a lot of these things. I listen to all the the conferences that go on. I'm back and forth to my computer trying to do all the interactions with as much as I can while I'm working. But I hear things that this is the stuff. This is what I thought of in my head when I saw Bunny Mutton. But then I contracted an artist to get his concept of it. And then we came up with, Nate Lindley came up with Bunny Mutton in this artwork. This was his concept of it. And I'm like, it doesn't have to be the same way I came up with it because this is an artist rendition, his opinion. So I'm like, this actually might appeal more to people. So I ran with the artwork that he went with. So then we turn it into an NFT where you get to see the logo side and the artwork side.
Nice.
So if anybody doesn't know, Nate is Ashcan Comics, which is
and he's doing 1,000 Blades right now, which is a game and an NFT thing. So he's definitely. I like doing cooperative efforts with people. It gets a little bit of name out. You saw my artwork. I'm a little bit more rough sketcher, but I get it done. I get my concept down and my idea across.
The tattoo on the bunny's arm. I really like.
Yes, the money button symbol on his arm is. And originally, I had it on his mouth, but we're still incorporating it. And when you see the physical coin, those are actually in silver, and the white dot on the bottom really stands out because it's sitting over the shiny metal.
Oh yeah,
cool.
And where can we go to buy one?
These are on relayx.com/1bitcoins. That's where the whole collection is. So if you go on there, I actually have a couple of tickers, and if you go in the coin section, you'll see the money button token. I mean the the white paper token, the fork coin, and the core coin. I don't have any of the colored ones up there because you have to buy a ticker for each of the things you list there. So you can have a collection underneath your name, and it doesn't have to keep, you don't have to buy a ticker for all of them. It's just if you wanted to list the thing up there separately like that, it gives it more attention, more notoriety, and they're building out the platform. So it's going to have a little bit more to it later. Mm-hmm. So after this, I came up with, well, these are the finished products. And these bags, these felt bags right here, I actually emboss those as well. I bought the stamp and I do all the embossing myself. So
cool. Very cool.
I'm a one-man gang. There's I'm hiring and contracting people to help me and do Bitcoins, but this is the lone gunman. Yeah, this is, I wanted to try and connect these things with run tokens. So this is showing on the side of it. The laser etching for the coin number is actually part of the run token. I took the first 3 letters, which is the 83D, and then the last 3, which is the DIE or D1E on this one. And I excluded the -010203 because that's going to be on all of them. But I didn't want to use that as part of the number. And then the coin number was number 17 right there.
Oh, so do you etch them yourself, Kris?
I do not. When I have the coins made, they're laser etching them at the place that I'm having them made. Now, I did this on the colored coins. The silver coins, the numbering is on the mint certificate, which we'll show that in a minute also, because we're going to start getting into the white paper, this was my flagship coin, I guess you could call it, because I guess this was the one I thought everybody would like the most.
Yeah, I've got to say it's my favorite.
And I mean, you can see the original. I come up with a little bit of an idea with bit data, coin money equals data money. And when I gave the concept over to Nate, I had Nate do the concept of the vectoring on this for me also. And this is the product that he returned back to me. And originally, I loved it. He's like, you can't fit all those words, man. I'm like, oh, okay. This is you want something and then you put it into reality and you can only get so much because of so much space. These are 39 millimeter coins. So to put things in perspective, these numbers you have, I mean, the lettering for the wording has to be a specific font. And we started with a 2.5 font and it was way too small. So the coin minter, which is a Highland Mint, they told me, yeah, you're going to have to go up to like a 3.5 or a 4. So I returned it back to him. And when I got it back, we ended up with what you're seeing here now in the coin artwork. It didn't go quite down as far, but you can actually physically read this coin, a minted coin in silver, and you can read that. So
that's amazing.
Wow. And that's pure silver.
Pure silver. This coin is 999 fine silver. Just like I showed you the kilo bars, I dropped off 19 kilo bars to the mint for them to make 600 coins, 200 of each coin. So
have you sent one to Satoshi? Craig.
Have I shown what?
Craig.
I have not. I don't have links to Craig.
Do you think he'd like it?
I think he would. I actually showed these. I met quite a few people when I was in Miami, but when I was down there, I talked to Jimmy Wynn, and I showed him these coins, and he said that if I could get them together by New York, then they'd try and get me up there to talk about them on New York stage. But I was probably about 3 weeks short by getting them ready for New York, so I kind of got a little bit moved by on that. Then I did some advertisements on the Craig Wright trial, which that commercial, it wasn't my best attempt at a commercial, but I was trying to get something put together. And then all of a sudden the trial's there and the opportunity to advertise was there. And I'm like, well, what do? Do we not do it? So we put the commercial out there, we advertised, and we did actually drum up more business than we paid for advertising. So it was positive. Excellent. And we got more attention. And then everybody who watches those shows are going to see the commercials. So,
well, I'm definitely a new customer.
Awesome.
I've been hesitant on buying silver, of just not knowing reputable people, and then I did get some from Satoshi. But yeah, I absolutely love these, and I'd love to get some more silver. So I am a new customer for sure.
I love it. Well, this image right here is the mint approval from the Highland Mint. We sent in all that artwork, and they sent this right here back to me, and this is what they use to make the dies. So once again, I'm just trying to show along the process. Most places you'd never get to see how something's made, but this is the whole process of what I went through, and this is a 4-month process.
Do you know how they make a die? Do you know how they do it?
No, I don't.
No, I don't either. I'm intrigued, like whether it's like digital printing, or I have no idea, or does somebody? Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I know with these, they showed me a little bit of the process, and they have a 40-ton coin stamp, and then they have a 200-ton coin stamp. So they make these dies that you see right here, and they put them on either side, and their machine presses off of a blank disc of silver. So they have a machine there that takes my kilo bars and melts them down into their blanks.
Amazing.
And they're set up to do 39 millimeter all day long. So if I was to change it, it would have cost me a lot to change it. So I stuck with the standard size, which is good because then you can find all your coin covers and wraps and all this other stuff. Now, I do have more plans in the future, but with the Bitcoin white paper, they couldn't get it done at the same exact time, so I chose not to do it. But there's a board that you can hang on your wall, a plaque. And I was going to have the white paper made up in a plaque that went top to bottom where the coin fit in the bottom of the board. So that way it would hold your coin in the bottom of it, and you'd have the white paper all above it.
That's cool.
That would be nice.
Yeah, they're. I caught them at the wrong time. This mint actually mints for the NBA, the NFL, all these major teams and stuff, and they had a lot of orders that were in front of mine, and they kind of slid my order in between all their orders as they were doing their busy time of the year. So I was pretty much lucky to even get inside, in the lineup at that point. So
you're a baller, eh?
you gotta run and push sometimes. This is a picture at the mint. This is what they were checking in all my 19 kilo bars at 611.4 ounces.
Nice.
Wow. So did you supply the silver yourself then?
I did. I brought them the silver. I bought the silver, so I knew what I was putting into this. I knew everything that was going in it.
Very cool.
So fascinating.
Yeah, when I walked up to that door, they must have had 2 million ounces of coins and silver and everything everywhere where I dropped this silver off at Highland Mint. They're definitely a huge player in the industry.
Oh, I do love a silver coin. They're so beautiful, aren't they? And they make such a lovely noise.
They're so shiny. And I've collected coins for some time, so it's one of those things where if I'm going to make a mark and I'm trying to make something that lasts and lasts forever, you want something that's not going to. Well, silver can tarnish slightly, but it can. It's going to be there in its original form. And I tried to zoom in a little bit here where you can actually see all the lettering on it. It's actually, you can pretty much read it, abstract to peer-to-peer,
I love it.
I'm astonished by the amount of detail they got into it. I really am.
Yep.
It's surprising. I was blown away when they showed me the final product. And I can hope and hope and hope, but they told me don't have high hopes that you're going to be able to read this stuff. And I'm like, I want them to be legible letters. So that's what I was going for. And they said, well, you need to at least get up to a 3.5 font. So we stopped at 3.5. We didn't want to make it overblown because we were trying to fit as much on there as we could.
Yeah.
This is the owner's NFT. This is the artwork I had made up for that. It's a small video, and what it's showing is it starts with the original artwork showing the sketch that I brought to life, thinking, of the coin in my head, which is right here. Then it spins. After that, it puffs it out so you can see it. Now, this is a 30 megabyte file. When I have it in 10 megabyte, it looks this blurry right here, even in this presentation. You can't see there's 200 coins on each of the mint certificates showing, because I want people to know if you bought something and you paid a little bit extra than a normal 1 ounce silver round that you can buy at a coin shop, that this is a limited edition thing. It's more of a collector's type item because there's only going to ever be 200 of these.
Really? That's a very short run.
Yeah, that's really, really limited for minting coins. They tried to talk me into a minimum of 500 each.
I bet they did, yeah.
Yeah, because they said it's not cost effective for you. And I'm like, well, you're missing the whole big picture here. Is I'm trying to make a limited. And Jack Liu actually recommended I do 100. And I said 100 won't be cost effective because nobody will want to pay $150 a coin for them.
Yeah.
Although they paid $100 a coin for Satoshi coins.
I don't know how he's doing that, but yeah, fair play to him.
I won't say that I didn't fall victim and prey to this. I have 5 of them. I sent 2 off to friends that have helped me with some things. So let's see here. CoreCoin. This was my original concept for CoreCoin. We have our max 7 transactions per second. They're undeveloping it. They're not developing it. They've segregated the witness. There's your SegWit. So you've got your 1 megabyte block, you've got your Bitcoin symbol, you've got Mastercoin interrupting, the whole process of it all, and the SegWit symbol down in the corner. And we call it Core Coin. So I gave it an Apple core to give it its vision.
Well, that's a rotten apple, isn't it?
That's a rotten apple, isn't it? So the vector, the silver coin, NFT work, and the NFT.
Cool.
And the final coin itself. I've actually held it out. It's got a little bit of marks on the corner.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that the trouble is, do you want to own something that's sort of celebrating, albeit taking the piss out of?
Yes.
Bitcoin? That's the thing, isn't it? The white paper's more appealing to me, but
I like this one. This one.
I think it's very, very
You got
cool.
the 7 TPS at the top.
Yeah.
Undevelopers. Yes, I like it. And Kris, I like, you really are like a fatherly figure here, showing us leading by example, to show us that you can take what skills you have and your vision and you can realize it. And you're showing us step by step how you do that. And also the service that you're providing, it's incorporating the NFT, but also making it tangible for people and making it in a coin that has value. So I feel so grateful that you're here with us today to really explain it, because I'd seen the ad, I'd seen this, I'd seen that, and things can fly by.
Absolutely.
But now we see what you're doing, and it is at the wave of the revolution.
Yeah.
It's hard to capture a whole vision sometimes. Marketing is not my strongest point, and I'm trying to put across the vision I see in this product to other people. And it's exactly what you just said. There's intrinsic value in it. There's artistic value in it. There's collector value in it, and there's memorabilia. I mean, there's the nostalgic part of it, whereas this is a point in history. And 100 years from now, this point is going to be something they read about in history books.
Yeah.
Now, will your grandkids have one of these saying, my parents were part of this, when it all happened, and this is how close they were to the center of it all? It doesn't mark the moment, but it definitely, it memorializes the moment. That's what it is.
And it's fun.
And it's a revenue stream for you.
Fun.
I mean, you can make some money off of it too. It's also a business for you.
Well, I'm trying to take something I enjoyed doing. I enjoyed collecting coins. I've got other things that I've collected. This is a good example of it. This is one of 21. This is the Satoshi Bitcoin Topps card from Carbon Craft. And there's 21 of these. He sold 17 of them. Billy Bitcoins, you're on there. I got you, buddy. Billy Bitcoins has one too. But these are a limited. And there's an NFT that goes along with these that are in the Money Button wallet.
Kris, show that again so we can see it.
Let's make Kris big on the middle of the screen so we can see it better.
Oh, should we just give him the whole screen?
Yeah.
Hold on a minute, let him, Kris.
It's glaring. Oh, yeah, up higher.
Higher.
Yeah. Oh, perfect. Yep.
Yeah, I can't see you girls at all because I've got my screen full screen. So,
Okay.
So is this a collector's card, like a Pokemon?
This is a collector's card. Yes, one of the other people in the industry around here has made this, and they're making collectibles also. And this is one of the cards. There was just a limited supply. He only made 21 of these, and he sold 17 of them.
Is it available on RelayX or something?
This was available on, he sold them on Money Button, but he's making his own platform. And for the second, the name of it eludes me, but yeah, I can't remember it right off the top of my head.
Send us a private message.
Yeah,
I would definitely do that.
Off and go buy everything.
Yeah, because I can find that. Don't forget the boys at Haste. Don't forget your Haste hat. We're gonna have to plug all these guys who are doing a physical product backed up with an NFT. Okay, now this is the Haste hat number 5 out of 24. So, like I said, I'm a collector. Do I realize the value in putting out a product that's limited with an NFT? I'm not the only one. There are other people out here who are putting out products that are realizing. I also did get the Bitcoin book. There's only 69 of.
You know what I love about silver, though, is I think it's got a lot of qualities in common with Bitcoin itself.
Oh, yes.
Because it's beautiful, it's useful, it's used in industry, it's used in electronics massively, isn't it? It's rare, provably rare. It's valuable, and people love to hold it. So I think there's something really special about silver, personally.
I love silver.
I do.
Definitely more in love with silver than gold.
Yeah, same.
Why?
Same.
Why?
Well, on our MIM certificates here, what we've done is we did the same thing. We've got our token contract down there on the bottom is partially, I'm going to go back and forth just a little bit here. The token contract, we've taken the first 3 and the last 3, but not of the one that you're buying. Because the one you're buying, we have 200 of these coins. So I'm taking RelayX wallets, and NFTs, and I'm using them to my advantage to build the business model, because when you buy this coin, you're buying Bitcoins, and you can relist your Bitcoins NFT and resell it. If you want to redeem the Bitcoins for the real coin, then you will send this Bitcoins NFT to a wallet that I tell you to, which is actually under redeemed Bitcoins. I have 5 wallets, and I did 5 wallets because I need to separate when people buy them. I have to be able to tell who's got what coin. So what I'm doing is I'm using Baymail. I'm using multiple BSV products to try and isolate my customers when they come in to redeem the product. So if I have you email me at Baymail, and you tell me I can now see what your RelayX address is because you just emailed me with it. I can go on Relay and look and see who bought all the coins in my Bitcoins wallet and see which ones they are. And the only thing I have to do at that point is verify what coin you bought. So when you Baymail me, I'm going to tell you, send your coin, your NFTs to redeem Bitcoins 1, redeem Bitcoins 2, 3, 4, or 5 if I have a multiple of, coming in at once. And then I'm going to see, I just told you to send it to Bitcoins 2. So I'm going to go in that wallet and see you bought NFT 5, 7, and 8. And I'm going to send you back redeemed Bitcoins, NFTs, and they're in the information in the description, they're going to say, this is an authenticity NFT proving that this is a real coin and that it has been redeemed. So that way now my business side of it has shown that coin has left, it is out in the market, and you have a redeemed Bitcoin showing authenticity that that's a real coin to go along with it. And that's where it comes, because the FA3 and the ODE is actually what is on FA3 ODE is what's on the MIM certificate, and then coin 17 out of 200. And then the QR code that's down in the corner actually links it not to the run token contract, but to the physical coin that's on chain. So when the coin gets minted and put up in the NFT, they put it to Bico Media, and that goes on chain as a picture, and then they link the picture into the NFT. Right. So that QR code right there is actually linking to your physical image online, not the NFT, not the run token. So you have the digital part of it along with the physical part of it.
Cool.
And it took a little bit of time to figure that out because we're trying to figure out how can we do 200 coins, have people redeem, and you could tell me whatever number you wanted. I wouldn't be able to prove what coin you had. All I would be able to tell is that you purchased one because RelayX shows that you did.
That's right, and they didn't have a list of activity, but they do now, don't they? So
correct. They're starting to do the activity, but I didn't look in the activity to see because it's only activity that's happened from this point on. So all the coins that I've sold in the past, it show the numbers.
So you've got like a voucher and a counterfoil.
And this is to account for how they're all coming in. Correct. Mm-hmm.
That's very clever.
So I'm utilizing their technology to work out a problem for my side.
Yeah.
Right.
So utilize your resources, and it's free.
Programmatically, I would think that would be a good idea to actually, encode into an app for somebody.
Absolutely. And, we're telling RelayX the things that we need, and they're slowly but surely implementing them into the program, but nothing's overnight. And you have to have more than one person ask for something to make it viable for you to go through, and want to implement it because it takes time to code stuff. So that was the token contract portion. Do you have any questions?
I do. Korppi is
Okay.
an artist, and she has many paintings, pyrography. She's used mixed materials to even, I believe, weave a painting and paint. And she also makes NFTs. So, Korppi, is what Kris saying something that resonates with you and your process? Or KPDad, do you have any advice for Korppi?
Well, Korppi, you want to go first, or?
I would actually, now that you said it, Rory, I would love to see some of maybe the wolf, one of them.
Yeah, that would be
in a
cool.
coin. I would love it, and I would love to have the whole. I don't want to say too much, but I'm making.
You have
this
to cover your ideas slightly.
but yeah.
That would make
I
an
really
awesome
want
coin.
that.
Yeah.
To make a coin. And how about the process, though? Because I know that if someone buys an NFT, like the pyrography of the cheetah and the frog, if someone purchases that NFT, then you will ship them that painting. Is that right?
Yeah, it's pyrography, so it's just a wooden plate that I burned. So yeah, I will ship that. I will ship them a piece of wood.
Tell us what they need, KPDad. If you want to, I mean, obviously it's a long process and it's expensive and you have to supply the silver and all that kind of stuff. So it's not something to do at the drop of a hat. Oh, he's gone.
Oh, now that must have been dropped out.
We're trying. We're talking along, and all of a sudden the computer just went blue screen. I'm like, no!
We got it back quickly, considering. Good grief. He was having fast food. What was I asking something about? Oh, the process. Like, do they need a vector art file? What do you have to supply the Mint with to be able to create it?
Yes, the Mint wants an Adobe Illustrator or a vector art type of file. That's the type of work that they deal with the most. I guess it's because they have the ability to get into the fine details of all the objects, and they're able to deal with it in multiple layers, because I guess if they're doing colors, they're going to want to know what layer, what color is getting to, and all of that. So.
Okay, so if I want to make a coin of one of my pyrography, for example, I will just make a vector art of it with Illustrator, and that's it. And then I can send that and send the kind of what I want. And is that it?
Well, you send that artwork to them, and then they send that to their art department. They go over it, and they see if it's something that they can approve that would be makeable into a product. Because like the problem I had, I sent them something with a font that was way too small, and they said, we can make it, but you'll never understand what it is. And that's great, because I want that expertise explained to me before I make a product. That was very professional of them to handle it that way.
And presumably it's quite an expensive thing to commission.
It was very expensive to commission. Yeah. This was not by any means. I told my wife, I'm like, I have an idea. I think it will work. I think it's something that it's not going to sell out overnight, but it's something that, I think they will sell. And I think it's a great product. And I explained to her why I thought that. And she supported me. She said, go ahead and try. And well, the good thing about this type of business is that if you start off with 600 ounces of silver and your business fails, you have 600 ounces of silver.
At least, yeah.
If you start off with 600 bandanas and your business fails, you have 600 bandanas.
Yeah, which is not much.
What are you going to do with them? Give them away to dogs at a dog park? I mean, you're going to have different outcomes of your failing business. So
no, that's a fair point. That's a fair point. At least
it was a little easier to sell that to her.
Waste some money, but you won't lose.
Correct. You can redeem some of your losses. So
definitely. Well, I'm interested in getting one now. I'm very level-headed, and I just buy the Philharmonics or something like that. That's
right.
Sort of a fairly generic coin. Just because I don't like to waste too much money buying. But I have to say, all these nice Satoshi coins and these coins you've done are very, very tempting to buy.
That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to tempt you.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely tempted.
I have,
It's that white paper one that's got my eye.
I have some coins that I have collected, and I want to show some of them because I want to hear your opinion.
We're interested.
Um,
Oh, that's gorgeous. I love shiny.
Yeah, I do. I'm a bit of a sucker for something shiny.
When Finland was 100 years old,
Lovely.
Yeah, that's
there's a
pretty.
lady with the book that says Lex, and then I have a Moomin coin.
Moomin.
Moomin.
Oh wow! I don't know whether do Americans know Moomins? Is that a thing over there? I don't know.
I've never heard of that.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, Moomin, as in button moon.
No,
Moomins are actually
Moomin troll.
Finnish things, and then I have this is lovely. There's this farmer.
Is it like a house, a
I
farmhouse?
like the tree again.
Yeah. And then a regular just this. But I love this. So I would really love a coin like this to have a like howling wolf or something.
Mm-hmm.
That wolf would look beautiful on a coin. Definitely.
That would.
Yeah.
It's a bit of
I
an
have these.
investment.
I have these. This is my box.
Oh,
Oh,
beautiful.
lovely! Like a presentation box.
Correct.
That's very nice.
Oh, that's
I'm trying to see if I can get them up there.
Yes,
Do
that's
the
the
men-
image.
Do the men
Oh.
give you that then when you get?
No,
these-
I purchased these separately.
I just
You
realized.
bought your own coins.
that's so cool.
Correct.
I would do that.
There we go. We're getting a little better there.
That's very nice.
Box as well, yeah, to present. I thought there were 4 coins.
There are. The bunny mutton coin is,
Oh, but that's painted, right? So that's not
Right.
a
Correct.
precious coin.
so
Yeah.
that one I did separately
Mm.
in the box that you would get it in.
Mhm.
You're not just getting a cardboard,
Right.
in the bag with the BitCoinz logo stamped
Velvet.
Very nice presentation.
and the bunny mutton.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
That's so nice. I love Nate's drawings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah,
that detailing. I really love that. It's amazing.
Yeah, the color. I love the purple.
Yeah.
But I did just say to the ladies that I just got my brand new coin in 2 hours before the show.
Oh yes.
So we're gonna
Are
have
you ready for this?
Yeah.
This is the largest coin I may ever make.
Okay, drum roll then, Korppi.
Ooh. Wow.
It is a 3.
Oh.
Is that like 5 ounces or
It's
10?
huge.
This one, I'd have to weigh it. This is a nickel-based coin. This is not silver.
Right.
Okay. Because once
It's so
again, I could not bring myself to do the coloring over the silver. There we go.
Yeah.
Now,
Oh, nice.
Oh, how fantastic.
Build your
Okay, so
future.
how much?
There's
Wow.
build your future.
Okay.
Take my money.
Bitcoin is the plumbing.
Wow.
Okay. So you've got all your data packets and the pipes underneath in the plumbing going between Haste, the tall miner, and Gravity, your bank wallet system.
Oh, you're giving Satoshi a run for his money here.
Lambo.
Lambo, yeah.
Is the software
Tau Terranode.
I think you're covering your microphone, Chris.
I'm sorry. You have Haste, has the run protocol under it, Terranode under the tall, Stas, simple fabric protocol, and Tokenize for all your token protocols at all the pipe junctions, because all of them are going through your plumbing. So until we get a defined token protocol, or they can all harmoniously play together. And on this one, we have the token contract and the mint number on the side of the coin, once again.
Yeah.
Linking this to the run token that the coin, what the NFT is minted off of.
Is there 200 of those as well then? Is that like
50.
Just 50.
Oh God, that's very rare.
Bunny mutton, 50 colored coins is all I've made.
Okay.
I wanted to make 100 silver coins. It wasn't feasible. So I went with 50 on the colored coins to make them more rare, more desirable. And I can tell you that the people at Haste already want some of these because they emailed me after I asked them if I can use their logo. So these people are definitely seeing it. And eventually we'll get to a point where, people will recognize them as what they are. I mean, they are collectible. They are utilizing what we're building with here. We're trying to link physical assets to digital assets for ownership and authenticity.
Yeah.
So we're trying to utilize as much BSV as possible in the process, hence the Baymail, relay wallets, NFTs, and clearly the content of the coins are all BSV.
And this is how we try and beat fraud.
Right.
Basically.
Yeah.
So that moves us on to law. And I know that you have quite a lot to teach us about law. How much?
I have a lot to learn about law too, but law is a process, and I'm a dad, KPDad72, got 3 kids, and I'm sitting here one day thinking,
plus there's 5. No, don't forget. You're the dad of the women of BSV.
That's right. That's right. I started studying law to see what kind of law do I need to teach my children as a dad. So as I'm sitting here trying to learn law, that's actually how I found most of what I've learned in BSV and how I found BSV. Because as I was studying for law, I found other things, along the way. A gentleman I used to work for showed me a paper where he said he common law copyrighted his name. Now, a common law copyright means that you own it. He filed it in the UCC, which is the Uniform Commercial Code, which is basically the rules of international commerce.
If his name is something like John Smith, I mean,
that would have been very difficult. His name was Szymanski.
Okay.
I don't think he'd be confused that often, but Szymanski is still a pretty popular name. So
yeah, exactly. So
I don't want to dox him completely on his name on the program, but
how does that work? I mean, we take John Smith as an example then, and
that would be very difficult.
Common, yeah. So how does it work on copyright and common law?
Well, you have a middle name also, so I guess part of the process would be defining yourself completely as to who you are. Versus John Smith isn't necessarily your whole name. I mean, I'm a Christopher Scott Pelland.
So tell us why he did that.
Well, he did that because it's about ownership of your property and ownership of yourself, because the government thinks they own you and you think you own you. So if you have that undecided position, I guess that's your standing. Where are you standing? Are you standing in ownership of yourself, or are you standing in ownership of the government? Now, the government thinks they own you. They think in America, you're a 14th Amendment citizen, okay? So if you think you're free, they may have something different to say about that. That's just my personal opinion. Now, like I said, I did not go to law school. I'm an automotive technician. I use discernment. I've done this for 30 years. I've used discernment on a daily basis to look at computer problems, and other things in cars, and go to wiring diagrams, theory of operation, and come up with a summation of what the problem is, and then come up with a reasonable solution to fix it. So that's what I do day in and day out for 30 years. This gentleman comes up to me and he lends me a book. It says, Common Law, Equity and Merchant Law. Okay, so if American
You're covering your mic again.
Yeah.
So I'll read the title. Put it back, Kris. I'll read the title, and then you can tell us what it says. So pull it out a little bit. So the history of the American Constitution or common law, with commentary concerning equity and merchant law. Okay. So do you want to? That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to bring the book to people's attention because people think statutory law is the law, and statutory law is not the law, it's their law. Common law was the law in the land before They brought statutes, law merchant onto land. So right now they're using sea law on the land, and people are agreeing to it. Okay. And what that is this is my understanding of how it works. And if anybody were to want to come and have a conversation and debate this, I would openly welcome it. Sea law is merchant law. When you bring merchant law around the world as you're doing commerce around the world, you're doing commerce with people, but people are men and women. Okay. When you're on a boat, that's a corporation in a way. Okay. So if you've got the East India Tea Company delivering tea from India to London to Massachusetts, all of those ports they come into, public and private don't mix. So if a public entity wants to deal with a public entity, that's fine. If a private entity wants to deal with a public entity, public and private don't mix. So you have to have a public entity and a public entity to deal with, if that makes sense. So what they're doing is they're making a legal fiction in your name. There's hence your capital letters. Okay, that's your legal, that's your straw man. That's your corporation. That is you doing corporate law with the corporation, and the corporation being the United States, the corporation being probably the government of London, because I believe they all have their own factions in the way that they do it. But they're corporate, and we're not. And they're treating us like we're corporate. And people are forgetting that you're corporate because you're private, but you're public. You're both. You're two things. And to have them on the side of each other, it's like living in a split universe and split realities, because they're telling you that all these rules apply to you, and those rules apply to corporations, but you're a man or a woman. So law is a funny thing, and it's taken a long time to get to that place, but you have to understand what laws apply to you as a man and a woman. And they don't make it easy to learn it. It's been a long process. These books aren't that easy to find, and the ones that you do find, they're trying to use legalese. Language is a tool. Language is something that they use to confuse people. You would think that they would teach you all of this stuff in school so you would be good at law. But what they want you to be is confused or ignorant of law. Then they can use law to control you. Once again, just my opinion. But it does seem to fit. It does seem to fit the situation like most of the time.
I like this.
Etymology. It's just in etymology, the study of words, they are containers that hold information. And like there's so much etymology about the sea in your birth, like a ship births into a port. And so your mother gives birth to you into a doctor, a doctor, a doc. It's everywhere when you really start looking into this stuff. So there's so many traps, and the courts are definitely their territory. And if you don't know any of this stuff, you are, what you're talking about can take you out of their jurisdiction, where you are, living being on the land.
That's right.
By the sea, admiralty law, and you can have that freedom where they can't come and try and trespass against you.
And the problem is they're using common words that you would think you use every single day, but you don't comprehend the full meaning of what that word is. So they're using word trickery in a way, because there was common law and there was black law. Why do you think there's a Black's Law dictionary? Because they're using dirty law on you.
There's a book called License to Lie that's all about.
That's it. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. So I actually have one quick thing to add into here, because I just in the MetaNet IDU had someone bring up the fact that I had mentioned quantum grammar in my interview that I just did with Ryan on CryptoBits. And so there was a huge discussion in the MetaNet ICU about quantum grammar with Craig and a whole bunch of other people. But I just am still convinced that there's something to parse syntax communication, where when you actually use sentence structure correctly, you can make it mathematically sound, which allows you to have your contracts in their courtrooms inarguably correct, because they cannot argue against math. So
and contract makes the law.
Yes, and contracts are law, which is why I feel like there's such an important connection to make between Bitcoin smart contracts and the correct language in them, the correct grammar in them, because then they are spiritually, mathematically sound and irrefutable and immutable. I mean, that's just the perfect. But the Russell J. Gould guy that is pioneering quantum grammar and the deployment of that, the Admiralty law and all that stuff that you were talking about, it all runs on the post office. Our entire world runs off of post office law. And even Freemasonry and all these secret societies, they're postmaster generals and Mustermeisters and masters and all this stuff. It's all post office language. So it's just really interesting to me. And I don't think that Craig actually looked into it enough before calling it BS on MetaNet ICU. So I was like, Craig, come on, because I really feel like I want to make a connection between Russell J. Gould and Craig Wright, because they're literally fighting the same people, the same at the highest levels. They're both taking on the same people in their own different ways. And I just feel like unity, if we could find a way to come together and use these technologies that are positively disruptive against the same people that are trying to do the mass destruction of our world, it would be extremely powerful. And that's all I'm trying to do, is plant a seed of people to actually do some of that research, because this is literally how they've enslaved us, is money and law and language.
And laziness. And laziness. Well, and not just laziness, but to overburden people with life.
It's ignited in a human when they learn about this stuff. You can't unknow it. You can't look away, and you want more, because you know that we need that freedom on all levels, on all dimensions. And this is the keys to get us there. The keys are here. You just have to say to your spirit, I want to use this. Show me more. And it'll show you more.
But listen, nobody believes us.
I know.
Nobody believes us. Nobody believes if you look at an overhead picture of the Miami Federal Courthouse that Craig Wright just went to, that it looks like a ship from above. Nobody does. But it does. And if you look at the grass, they cut the grass to make it look like waves. Why? Because it's Admiralty law, and they have to shove it in your face.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, you have to consent to it. Even walking in their doors, you're consenting. So there's something about our consent and free will. They are tricking us into using our free will to enslave us.
Can I chip in?
Certainly.
The bit that's worrying me that's coming next, is the digital twin concept. Mm-hmm. And I reckon that's going to be like more of this, but on steroids, you know? Because I think they're going to create a legal fictional digital twin of us. With the intention of, maybe just edging us out entirely, do you know what I mean? Or taking more of our rights away. I don't even know.
But they don't teach law in schools.
Well, let me say something to what Ruth just said. Ruth, they can take your house. They can take your car. They cannot take your rights. They can only violate them. Okay? And at that point, you have to decide what you're going to do to them.
Yeah.
So if you go
individually, it might be hard.
Supposedly with the quantum grammar stuff, they have a way of you doing a claim of life, where you are literally using quantum grammar to rewrite your birth certificate. You are no longer under their jurisdiction. I've seen a lot of proof of people having success using quantum grammar stuff in the courts as they rebuttal what the courts would try to come at you with. You can stay out of the courts, definitely do that, as much as you can. But if you ever have to enter into their domain, this allows you to be not under their jurisdiction legally. Basically, Russell J. Gould captured the flag of the United States before we were surrendered back to Great Britain in late 90s. So David Wynn Miller and Russell J. Gould did this together, and David Wynn Miller did something to betray them and was working with the Clintons and actually ended up getting killed. Russell J. Gould has a documentary called Last Flag Standing, which explains everything that he's been through up until this point, and how he has been using quantum grammar to do bring up charges on Bush and Cheney and all these war criminals and all these people. And so it's just taking enough time, like the military, all these people know who this man is. So I really think there's more weight to it than what that quick conversation in MetaNet, gave it. But all I'm looking for are the keys. That, I don't know. Like you said, we're all learning students every day, all day, as much as we can. Once you know that you need to be looking at this stuff. So this is, I have on my Be the Broadcast website, BSV and quantum grammar right next to each other, because one of them appears to be making its way to be the new global monetary system that we will use. I don't know which one's going to shake out, but I mean, I'm looking into both. I don't know what else to do. So they're definitely both technologies that are completely viable, and the thought of them coming together somehow is, like, to me, a nail in the coffin of the cartel. I mean, that's running the planet. So I don't know. It's just worth looking into for us truth seekers out here. It's definitely, the Admiralty law is full-blown enslavement.
Well, I've had a few conversations with some people lately about what we're calling status correction in commerce. And what it is it's correcting your standing.
Gemstone University? Is that Gemstone?
I listen to them a little bit, but I'm listening to a gentleman that's on high frequency radio. He actually does another process, and he's doing something called secure party creditor. But he breaks down stuff, and he'll go straight to books, and you don't go past a word, you don't comprehend what the word is. So if you got to go to Black's Law Dictionary, you got to go to American jurisprudence, you've got to go to, the books that the stuff that breaks down. And jurisprudence, the American jurisprudence is nothing more than judge-written law, and they're taking it from case by case, and it's not the whole case. They might take one line from one case, and the next line might be from another case, and then they'll reference them all at the bottom. So then you've got to go read all those case laws to understand what they're getting it all out of. But, I mean, I find it more satisfying finding information that way because it seems more backed and it seems more common sense. When it gets explained to you how they're going through the processes that they're going to, through, that it's kind of like trust law in a way in a courtroom, because they're asking you to be a trustee for something, and then they're holding you responsible and liable for the debt and everything that the trustee incurs during the process. And what you're realizing is when you go into court, you don't stand a chance, because you think the judge is an unbiased arbitrator and the hearer of truth and the hearer of fact, but he is not. He's actually on the same team as the prosecuting attorney, the cop at the door, the building, and the people that all work in it are all on the same team. So if you think you're going to go to court and win, you better file all your paperwork before you get to court, because that's how you win in court. You don't go to court.
It's definitely the belly of the beast. It's where they do their bidding. So
I remember what
I was very concerned about Craig in that thing. Sorry, Diddy, but
absolutely.
They had a jury, and I think the actual input of the people, the spirit of people, and not the courts controlling the whole thing, really helped him not get railroaded in that court case.
Absolutely.
The jury thing should be used more often, but it's not, is it? I mean, it's only really in high profile cases, isn't it, that they use juries nowadays?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I guess you only want to use it if it benefits you.
Yeah.
If a jury could bury you, you probably wouldn't want to take the chance, right? I mean,
the thing is, if you are innocent, if you are saying the truth and the truth comes out, which it does always in the end, and you are not the guilty party, then that should be reflected. It should be something that is reflected in who you are as a person and your mannerisms and your expressions, not just the language that you're speaking. This is where this saying, I remembered now, it's man invented language to satisfy his deep need to complain. So a lot of the time, is this why they shut you up in court? Because, all you're doing to them is complaining about something that they don't feel you should be complaining about. Because, as you say, that it's like they're all encompassing. You do what we tell you to do, and actually, you're like, well, actually, no, I'm not going to. So
I look at it like this: court is a place where they're trying to satisfy a debt or something that's happened. So if somebody's at a loss and somebody has to offset that to make something whole, now there's no money. So if there's no money, how do they fix it? Do they have to put somebody in jail to take up to make the money? because somebody owns the jail and the money's being made into the system somehow. Okay, so where was I going with this? If the jail makes money and it pays the bill, then you're paying the bill because you're the one in jail. Okay, if you had the money, you could just pay the money, but there's no money. So what are we doing here? We're offsetting debt. Okay, because when we lost the right to have gold and silver, we lost the right to have money. Mm-hmm. So now the United States is in bankruptcy, and our government is handling the bankruptcy. And what they're looking for you to do is step up and do your part when they bring you in for a charge or, to try and get something off of you. And they're looking for you to settle that debt somehow. And if you can't come up with a way to pay it, or you can't, they're saying you should be able to use your exemption as an offset, and you offset the debt. But most people don't know how to use an exemption. What's that?
The bigger the debt, the more petty the laws.
Doesn't it seem? Yeah, right. You get into Congress, and Congress can do all kinds of petty illegal things like insider trading, and that's not illegal. Mm-hmm. Now, it's a two-tier justice system. It's rules for me and not for thee. Mm-hmm. So that's not fair. No. So, no different than the cop that pulls you over for turning right without a turn signal, and when he turns right to pull you over, he doesn't use a turn signal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And this is where petty laws are like handed out left, right, and centre just for the pure insanity of the fact that I can do this to you. There's no right.
Never more demonstrated than recently, like with all these stupid COVID rules and regulations that the politicians themselves are completely ignoring.
Which are all unlawful, actually.
Which are all
very, very unlawful. Yeah. Well, and there's the thing. There's legal and lawful. But their stuff is legal. They make all the rules illegal, but that doesn't make it lawful. So they could be acting unlawfully.
Go through how many different
you
laws
can say
are.
no.
You can. You do not have to consent.
Mm-hmm. And that's powerful.
And then they can do what they want to do, and then you have the right to go back and file against them for doing whatever they do. And I think that's kind of what's going on now around the world. Is they're looking for people to stand up. You have to stand up to the tyranny and tell them no. But they're coming house to house and they're doing it individually. So how many people are strong individually? If you don't come together as a group, they're going to wipe you out individually.
Mm-hmm. This is why
that's how it works.
Yeah,
and that's how it works. You have to bond together.
Yeah. That's what I mean. This is like if we're all fighting the same group, if we actually started talking about what's really happening and looking at the right people following the money to the right place, I mean, it all leads to the same people. It really does. You don't have to dig that deep to find out who it leads to, all this stuff. So if we all started looking at that instead of each other and the different cultures, we would end this quick. If we started looking at the content that they're actually suppressing, what is it? It's about how powerful we are individually, let alone when we've come together. We have the ability to collectively mess with the magnetic fields of the earth and change our reality instantly if we came into coherence with each other. Look that up. That is scientifically proven. When a large group of people coherently with the same intent in their hearts meditate together, they shut down war, they shut down crime, they shut down suffering in that area. And it takes the square root of 1% of a population to affect the magnetic fields of that area. That is their greatest fear, of us coming together and using that collective power. This is why they need to depopulate so many people, because we're way more powerful than them. And this is the information that they've been taking out of our books. There's 30-something books that were removed from our religious texts. And the stuff that's in the bottom of the Vatican and crap like that is all the content of how to use our own dormant technologies that are lying within our Earth rovers.
I keep saying this on Twitter, actually, in a less spiritual form, but it's the same message, which is, if they keep using this word mandatory to try and convince us that they're saying something legally, and they're not.
Mandates aren't legal, yeah.
Right, yeah. So if people just say no, and I don't consent to that, there is nothing they can do.
United non-compliance.
So everybody just needs to sort of stand in their own power and realize that the power of no and their right to say no. I do
Yeah.
not consent to that. I don't go along with that. You don't decide for me what goes in my body. You don't tell me what to do, as regards my own children. No. And the power of no is unspeakably huge. We just have to deploy it.
Well, and the 100th monkey morphogenic field of humans will implement that into the universe when we've all said it. Like, well, and then when enough of us have said it, it doesn't take every single person to say it for it to like shift, which we're seeing now.
Right.
But, my concern is whatever's spreading from the jab is already in the circulation. So even if they stop everything right now, we still have generations of cleanup as a species.
Yeah, I agree. Which is pretty terrible.
You guys see me and my memes on Twitch?
Yeah.
Sometimes.
On Twitter.
I will get on a roll. I will get on a roll and I will just find stuff and I'll read and read. My boss will come up to me. I'll be on there for an hour. My boss will be like, "Are you going to do work today?" I'm like, "You just don't even know what I just found."
Yeah.
They don't get it. We're in an alternative reality to most of the other people in the world. So,
absolutely. That's how it feels.
yeah, it was about patents. I like to find patents, and the patents about manipulation with television screens and monitors and all of that stuff to affect your central nervous system. Okay, so I mean, how can you deny the things that are going on clearly the government has rights and patents to weather manipulation. Putin says we pushed the storm off the soccer game so the World Cup could have a clear day to play soccer. I mean, these people openly say it. Yet when I say it, somebody at work that the government can manipulate weather, they look at me like I ate rocks for lunch.
This is when you even show them the proof as well.
Yes. That's some serious cognitive dissonance right there.
Yeah. This is how
Big
it
time.
works in the video. This is what it's doing. Look how it's creating the weather. It's NASA's machine, blah, blah, blah. And they're still like...
Yeah, have you
There was a
seen
hurricane.
in like another country in Switzerland or something like that? There's literally like this giant device sitting in this beautiful, pristine area, and it is spitting out fake clouds. It's like a giant thing, and it's just pumping out fake clouds that are going up into the atmosphere.
Yeah, and then they send
I
drones.
I want to say
Is it a disco?
it's like a giant thing. That industry-looking thing on the ground, and it is from the side of it spitting out fake cloud. Not like even a thing that where you would think it was like a factory or something.
But that's the least of it. I mean, that's the least of it.
Yeah, they have mobile HARP.
Yeah, HARP is just like...
Yeah.
I mean, the Saudis did it a bit back with a couple of drones. It's been really hot and there was no rain for like ages and ages, and they just sent some drones up, did some electric pulses into the clouds and
shooting.
So I saw a drone fly. I'm a Part 107 drone pilot, and I saw a video of a drone fly in front of a 5G tower, and as soon as it got to a certain thing, it literally dropped and caught on fire.
Seriously? Whoa.
Yeah. And that is the lithium batteries and all that stuff. And this is I mean, there's videos of, I'm not even going to say.
Well, what I've just heard is 5G rolls out in 3 stages. And the 5G is running in Florida, and it's been running for 2 years. But they said they're running it at like 0.5 hertz. Then it's supposed to roll out in like 28 hertz, and then it's supposed to roll out in 60 hertz.
Now that's the one
that's where it's supposed to start doing damage.
Yeah,
that's where it knocks the oxygen molecule off.
Yeah.
Now, I also read that why does the word covfefe kept being brought up?
Okay. Yeah, I've heard about this with the Q stuff.
I posted a thing about that with the patent about the wiring. I believe they switched over from the Huawei phones from China, that chipset, and they went to a different chipset in the Apple phones and some other things. And their 5G is supposed to be, now, for what it's worth, I haven't done too much more reading on this. It's supposed to put out a Tesla healing wave because they're using soft core copper wire and some other stuff instead of the hurtful wave that they're planning to put out.
Yeah, so that could be a psyop, but it also could be true because in Milford, Texas, so Nikola Tesla, when he died, in his hotel room was all his trunks of research. Well, John Trump is Donald Trump's uncle, is the one who got those documents. Did you ever hear that?
I heard that also. Correct.
Okay, and then also I heard that the time travel books that were written in the late 1800s by Ingersoll Lockwood, that author that has written the book about the underground travels of Baron Trump in the 1800s. So I think they're using time travel technology against this cabal that's controlling the world. I don't know, but I did hear that, and it does bring some kind of like something's going on here for a Tesla tower in Texas to be erected during Trump's
Seen
presidency.
that also. Absolutely.
So I'm very, very, very hoping that that is true, because if it's not, and they are able to implement this weapons technology, we don't stand much of a chance, especially if the satellites beaming it are in space. Like, you can't go burn those masts. You can't go like shoot those down. You know, so I don't know, but I went to a drone conference and I stood there at this device where this guy had this ring, a giant ring, and as long as the device that was being powered was within this ring, it had free energy. This is at a drone conference in Denver 5 years ago. Like, they know this stuff is possible. So they're just blocking it, which is another reason why I will give an announcement right here, which is exciting to my women of BSV and our dad.
Is this public or is this still private?
This is good. You can put this out. Ryan and I are going to SRI International next Saturday to meet with Robert Goddess to see the LENR device, and with the mining.
Yes.
With the mining operation that Ryan and another group of engineers are working on building an actual miner, we're going to do our best to get the funding to include in the pitch running that mining operation with one of these free energy or low energy cost technologies. So it'll be the most competitive miner from the very start. So the exchange and a miner and then the social media, it's all like getting done, and we're just like nonstop working over here. So yeah, and that would be a way to kind of try to get this in front of Craig, because can you imagine the amount of power that Craig would have if he was the one that married the new next evolution of like nuclear energy or free energy, whichever. I mean, I showed Ryan the Thrive 2 documentary the other day too, which has amazing free energy devices in it that are even better than cold fusion. So I'm determined to continue making these connections, because if Craig and free energy were married with Bitcoin, like, game over. Check.
Game over.
Yeah.
That's what we need.
The whole world changes, like.
Yeah. All done. So, I mean, we literally should have had these advances over 100 years ago. Tesla and his destruction of his research is, I mean, one of the biggest crimes against humanity I can think of. And everything from then has been an inside job to try to take over the planet. I mean, I'm sure lots leading up to that too, but from my research, that's about as far as I went back on the last time we had the opportunity at True Liberation. So.
Well, he was right. When the world looks at things they cannot see, frequency, magnetism, that's when the world will evolve, because it's huge. I've done a lot of watching and looking into that, and it's huge.
Yeah, I was just talking to Ryan about the, we're starting a philosophy and a technical, 2 different threads with Craig. So like how he did Theory of Bitcoin with Craig, we're going to do another technical series and also philosophy theory series that starts on Monday. And I was just talking to Ryan, and he was like, you know, we have to go back to mathematics. It's all about mathematics. So I've got him looking up vortex math right now. And
love vortex math.
It's so fascinating. But he's a mathematician, you know? So like empowering mathematicians finally with research and content about math that's been hidden from them intentionally in their academia, it's going to liberate the world. We just got to get these people that have the skills to do something with this knowledge. the right knowledge, and then we're all free, home free, like
it's incredible having such a smart guy be so open-minded. I mean, it's
yes, I'm
almost unprecedented.
I'm
really.
impressed with Ryan's awakening.
Yeah.
He has been so hungry for connecting the dots and just like figuring out what's going on. I mean, he was buying it hook, line, and sinker up until last October. So he made some decisions.
Maritime language.
He was busy.
He was
busy.
focused on, and this is what they want. They want people so laser focused into their work and their area of expertise that they don't look outside of anything else. That's why they say go focus on only one thing. That's a lie. If you focus on everything, you're a holistic human being able to make educated decisions. Like anyway, so they siloed him in, to his research and his work, and he's, has regrets for allowing that to happen with some of the decisions he's made, but he's definitely doing everything he can to, make better choices now. And I'm just impressed. Like a lot of people, that cognitive dissonance thing still kicks in along the way and they get into that fear mode or something shuts them down, but he's just like blinders off. He's so based in truth as a human being. I'm very impressed with his word as his word, and it's just so sound. It's every word he speaks has such intention to it.
I love listening to Ryan. I've listened to all the Bitcoin, the theory of Bitcoins and all of that with Craig, and some of them twice because some of them you can't listen to once.
It's just
BSV is a tree. BSV is a tree. Everybody should be on the tree. It doesn't matter if you're a trunk, a branch, a leaf, a root, the dirt. You have to be part of it or you're not going to grow. Okay? So that's all I want to be. I want to be a branch. I want to reach out and touch stuff. I want to be part of trying to make things happen. And this is a small part of me trying to be part of this. And I think everybody has to see it for it to start moving. I guess maybe not everybody. I guess you just got to have a couple of key roles, but how does it become money for the world? From this point. But everybody thought it would happen overnight, BSV to 1200, everything else is moving around. I thought this was a 5 or 10 year plan when I first got into it. If you didn't think that when you first got into it, you were naively led, you were easily coerced.
One thing I love about BSV,
it happens very easily for the newbie to get sucked into all this stuff.
Especially the number go up. Why would I stay in this? I'm going over there and making money. Well, you don't get it. This is the way out.
And the faster that people stop supporting that stuff, the faster we're going to get out of all this mess, because a lot of that is funding everything. I mean,
that's right.
I mean, I don't see why people don't see that. I really want that to click into the monkey field here, because that's, I think, contributing to so much suffering of so many innocent people. Just all these pump and dump things that are happening. It's just they're just hiding money to do other crazy dark things.
And it's not helping us out any, because what it looks like is in the ocean of thousands of cryptos, that the one commodity that looks like a crypto because it's in the whole list of it all doesn't stand out like it should. But I think somebody's going to build something that's going to stand out, and that one thing will make people look. Now, what will it be? I don't know. I thought Money Button was pretty big, an identity system, a payment system, a peer-to-peer payment, an NFT marketplace. I mean, it looked like it was emerging and evolving. Relay comes out and they're trying to do things a little bit differently than other places. Like the NFTs, non-fungible tokens, I thought are supposed to be individual fungible tokens differently. I think they're doing them a little bit different than that. But I mean, everybody's got their way of trying to make something get implemented, and adoption is the key.
I wasn't going to say I am very excited about what Ryan and some other people technically. I'm just observing, obviously the coding and stuff side of everything. I just am watching that and being a part of the conversations that I am learning through osmosis, all the terms and all that stuff. But it's going to be big. It's going to be really, really amazing. And it's so liberating for each individual user. It doesn't lock them into anything. It gives them their free will back. It gives them their network back, their autonomy back, their agency. I could not have the universe could not have brought me, because I didn't go looking for this opportunity at all, but the universe could not have brought me a more aligned business opportunity right now. I'm just ecstatic, and it's
almost spooky.
It's almost spooky. But I've been definitely asking for things like this, and I think we unfold who you truly are with heart-centered social media. Uninhibited ability to.
Ooh, that's a good catch tagline.
Mm-hmm.
I have to rewind that and write that down.
Yeah, that's actually our first post on Twitter at the handle Heartmail Inc. That's the first post I made, was unfold who you truly are with heart-centered social media. I do. I know. I'm just really excited. Anything that puts us back into our heart space, even like the new money button, the way you swipe with the money button to send your emails, you'll literally like draw a heart in order to send things from your heart. So it's just so magical.
That's
cool. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
I love it. Love it. I could not be more impressed with what Ryan wants to do to help bring people back into that integrity from your heart. It's great. And then having the ability to have everything on immutable records is going to change the world and how we interact with each other, for sure.
So just because we probably ought to wind up fairly soon, has anyone got any more questions that they've not asked Kris yet?
Yeah, how can people get in touch with you, Kris? And what is your website address for your coins, etc.?
Well, my very hastily put together website was BuyBitcoinz.app. Okay. I wanted to try and get something up fast. I'm not a web developer. In the past, I have taken, in 1998, finished in 2000, I took C++, I took Java, and I took networking classes when networking in, we'll say, Workstation and NT 4.0 were out. Okay, so that's about how far back my schooling was. Now, I have recently, I'm trying to get back into it, and Recipe SV is something that is still going. But what we did is we had it 95% done, and we lost our database guy. So I'm now trying to figure out how I work 50 hours a week. My daughter's got 3 gymnastics events in the next 3 weeks. I run a house, a family, I'm but one person. I'm a little guy. And look what I'm trying to provide and put in here. Ryan is one guy. Look what Ryan has put out there. And he might have a team, but we're all individuals and we all have a chance to get somewhere and put something out. Now, I just downloaded Unity. I'm going to try and build a game. And with Haste implementation API for putting the leaderboard stuff inside there, you have to just keep trying. Grab something, go with it, and see what you can contribute. You never know if that one little thing is what's going to spark the next big thing. And, that's how balls roll. Snowballs start at the top of the mountain.
That's right.
That's what I was going to say earlier. Oh, sorry. Let me say this. The great thing about BSV, I think, is that it builds entrepreneurs. It's like you stay in this community for more than a couple of months and you turn into an entrepreneur. It's almost like osmosis,
And the last thing you ever want to have is regret for not trying to try something, okay?
Yes.
Trying is easy. Failing is making you want to try the next time and not repeat what you failed at last time, okay? I'm 49 years old. I'll be 50 next month, okay? What am I going to leave? What am I going to leave as a legacy? Who's Kris Pelland when all of this is done? So I'm KPDad on Twitter. I'm KPDad on Twitch. I'm KPDad72. I'm pretty much every platform you can find out there. KPDad72 was because I had to have an account to talk to my daughter when I was at work and she was at home. We had these little tablets set up. So I made these Gmail accounts. We got a KP mom, we got a KP dad, and we got a daughter, okay? And we made these accounts. So I didn't really even come up with that name. I just switched my Google account over and started using it. So you never know how things are made, that naming convention just came out of nowhere. Although KP and I am a dad and I was born in 72, all those things just kind of fit together, make it really easy, and a small short email address for a Gmail account.
Well, you'd always be KPDad to me, that for sure. You know,
I'll be KP Dad for everybody.
Yeah. It's really
Yes,
nice.
it's been a pleasure to meet you. And I, grew up. My mom died when I was 2. My dad was a heroin addict my whole life, so I never really got that fatherly, energy. And it's always a pleasure to be, a witness to such a good dad. I'm sure your kids, are very blessed to have you, and it sounds like you've done an amazing job with them. So thank you for being such an inspiration to other men out there and all that stuff. I mean,
Thank you. If I can do anything, hopefully I just inspire somebody to get out there and try and start a business, try and do something utilizing this technology. If you don't, you'll get down the road and you'll say, I had all these roads open in front of me and all I did was shut doors in front of them. It just doesn't seem like the right answer. Sometimes the simplest, Occam's razor, the simplest solution is probably the right one. Yes. So, get out there and try something, get out there and make something, talk to people. You never know what kind of things get drummed up just by making a new contact. I try and talk to everybody online. I mean, you see me, I try to talk to everybody online I get to. I talk, and, I try not to argue. I try to openly debate and I try and rationalize. BSV has done for me. BSV has taught me how to be humble. You can force information in front of somebody, but you can't force it down their throat. So if you try a different approach, that's what this has led me to. I have tried way different way. I mean, I'm from Massachusetts originally. So we started A in Massachusetts, arrogant. I had arrogant down pat, but it wasn't making me anywhere in life. So you have to learn what to give up to progress. And if you want to make it someplace, you're going to get more flies with sugar than salt, right? So that's the goal.
You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. But you can pour some salt in their oats.
That's right. Well, I do have plans. I vaguely showed a little bit of it to Ruth, but I do have a Ruth Heisman coin in the works. I mean, you cannot have a Ruth Heisman quote like "Get over your disdain for CSW" at $100, $1,000, or $10,000 BSV, or
Oh, that would be awesome! I'd buy the shit out of that.
It would still only be 50, Ruth.
Well, send us a text.
That sounds awesome.
Buy it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, I will
this
pass.
is all as the price is going down today.
I know, right? Well, listen, the best thing you could do at, what is it, $95 BSV right now?
Something like that.
You could have bought one of these coins when it was at 185, and you'd been sitting there saying, I paid $185 for this coin. I want one BSV for the silver coins. The other ones are out there for less.
Good point.
And it's including shipping. So if I've already shipped some to Spain, I've already shipped some around the world. So I mean, they're selling. People who collect see the interest. They see the limited quantity of them, and it's tough to buy something online from people you have no clue who they are. I thought I got in early at Twitch. I got in early in this industry, and I'm trying to build a name for myself as being a reputable, honest, reliable, trustworthy person. And I don't think I've changed my stance from the beginning when I first put my first tweet, my first Twitch, my first POW ping. I think I follow the same exact path. I'm here to bring awareness that there's some weird stuff going on in the world. There's some bad stuff going around the world to kids, and I think everybody should look into it for themselves, because if you don't look with your own eyes, you will never see.
Yes.
Amen.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you, women. Thank you for having me on. It was a blast. I would love to come back on. I could come back on and talk for 5 more hours with you girls, I'm sure.
Anytime.
So that invitation is open if you ever want to, please. And Ruth, when I get that coin designed, I will send it to you for approval.
No, that's wonderful.
Oh,
I'm very excited about that. That's awesome.
That's so cool.
Yeah, we gotta get a Women of BSV coin too. No.
I would definitely keep that in the works.
You could put Women of BSV on the back of it.
We could, definitely. I've talked to several other artists out there. I've tried to get some collaborative efforts put together with some name brand people that you would already know. And we're just waiting to try and work some stuff out. I wanted to try and have a Copa coin ready by the time the Copa case came out, but I don't know if I'd be able to get that done or not yet. But it would have been Copacabana themed for the Copa case. So,
Nice.
you know, I mean, you have to put a little air of humor to all of this stuff, because look at it.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's got to be
this is a
cute.
weird, crazy world,
Yes.
and, you know, it'll take advantage.
The movie Monsters Inc. is actually a documentary, guys. So it's actually
Oh,
a
I know.
documentary.
Yeah.
And what
I
is
can show you stuff. Casey, I'm going to
that
send you a direct message on that one.
Yeah.
What is the theme of that movie, though?
Yeah,
The
yeah.
energy that they're stealing from the kids. Oh, yeah, the laughter is the powerful energy.
Will win. So I love you for doing that. Thank you for that, you know, an energy you're putting out there, because we have to laugh. We have to love through this. So
Yes.
keeping the humor and the, you know, support of each other alive, like we're doing on these podcasts and everything, is so fun. I'm so
Raising
grateful
the
for all.
vibration.
Absolutely. I believe you have something to learn from everybody you meet in life, okay?
Yeah.
So if you don't learn anything from me except laugh and have fun, okay? Because this isn't practice, this is life. You get one chance at it, and you better make the best of it.
You're a very sweet guy, KPDad. We really love you, and we've been, you know, listening to you for years. So, you know, watching you comment and, you know, laughing along with you. So thank you.
I try to find the funny memes. I try and weed out all the junk.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm taking that on the shoulders for everybody else.
Yeah. Well, we're grateful for you so much. So keep in touch.
Well, thank you very much. It's been an honor.
Keep
And
listening.
when you're ready, I'll be back.
Definitely.
All right.
Thank you,
Thank you so
Karen.
much. It was
Yeah.
very nice.